Welcome to the weekday Q&A with your host, Ryan Kennedy, where I answer questions submitted by our listeners like yourself. These short daily episodes cover a wide variety of topics to help bring you strategies, tools, and insights to optimize your health and better your life. Now on to today's episode. Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. Today's question is about how can I eat out without derailing my progress, without derailing my health, and how can I basically go to restaurants and not really sacrifice how I feel and how I perform? What are some tips on kind of navigating restaurant menus? And this is a tough question to answer because something you need to understand is that restaurants are a business, and most restaurants care about the taste of the food, the presentation of the food, how it looks on the plate, and the profit margins. Because, if they're not turning a profit, they can't stay in business. And there aren't enough really health conscious individuals for most restaurants to take the extra step to cook with healthier fats that are going to cost a lot more, to source organic ingredients and grass-fed meats and pasture-raised eggs and all these different things that go a long way when it comes to your health, but it doesn't make the food look any different. And debatably, it doesn't make it taste that much different. And so because of that, most restaurants, there are some exceptions, are going to use very low quality ingredients because those are the cheap ingredients, and they're not going to go and pay double the price to get, some organic produce when they could get the conventional stuff that looks and tastes just about the same. So a few tips when it comes to eating out at restaurants. Number one, biggest thing is to avoid the vegetable oils, the canola, soybean, safflower, sunflower, all these rancid, oxidized seed oils, industrial seed oils, which have been really the main thing most restaurants cook with because they don't have any flavor and they're cheap. They're really inexpensive. So anytime you're buying fried foods, if you get some fried calamari or some French fries, it's fried in these toxic vegetable oils. And as though that's not bad enough, when they're exposed to high heat and they reuse a lot of these oils with the deep fryer, they become horrendously harmful to the body and create these different peroxides. And so that's the main thing you want to avoid. And the way you do that is you don't order anything fried, and you just ask the server, hey, can you cook my food in butter or olive oil instead? And 9 times out of 10, they'll accommodate your request if you just ask them to cook it with butter. Pretty much every restaurant has butter in the kitchen. It's not like a rare ingredient. And if you really want them to take your request seriously, tell them you're allergic to oils. As soon as you say the word allergy, they take your request very seriously. They don't mess around, and it's a pretty simple request. Just say, hey, can you cook my food in butter? Is that all right? If you're getting like a stir fry, or if you're getting something that was obviously cooked in some sort of fat, you just don't know what. So that's gonna be a good tip. When it comes to animal protein, I always go for lamb, because there's very little factory farming of sheep in the United States. So usually when you order lamb at a menu, even if it's not some special organic place, it's usually going to be grass-fed lamb, usually from New Zealand or Australia. And that's a great source of nutrients, great animal food. So I love going to Indian restaurants and certain Mediterranean restaurants for this reason, because they almost always serve lamb, and it's freaking delicious. I love it. But that's one thing as far as animal protein tips. And then avoid all the processed grain-based stuff. That kind of goes without saying, that the breads and the pastas and all the various refined grains are not going to be serving you, especially because they're conventional wheat, loaded with glyphosate, not going to be good quality. And then avoid the fried foods, like I said, and just aim for some sort of protein. If they have some good wild fish, that's going to be a great option. Some kind of vegetables, and if you are going to do some carbs, go for a clean starch, like some potatoes or yams or sweet potatoes or carrots or white rice. These are all going to be far superior options. And lastly, guys, in closing, do what you can, but don't overthink it. Enjoy yourself going out to, eat, and, the more you freak yourself out about this stuff and get in your own head, the worse it's going to be for your body. So understand some things are out of your control. Ideally, you're not eating out every day. Cooking your own food is going to be the best option for the vast majority of the time. But if you go out to eat once a week, twice a week, and you make some of these adjustments, you keep some of this stuff in mind, you avoid the vegetable oils, you're going to be in good shape. So hope you found this helpful. Be sure to share it along to anyone that eats out a lot that could use these tips. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. If you found it helpful, please share it along to anyone else you believe it can serve. You can submit your own question to be answered on the show by going to ryankennedyhealth.com/podcast. Be sure to subscribe and leave a review for the show. Your feedback helps to support me on my mission to positively impact as many people as possible with this information. Please note, the information depicted in this episode is purely for informational purposes only. Please consult your healthcare professional before making any changes to your lifestyle or routine.